Have you ever wondered if all this waiting was really leading to anything, or if healing is even possible during your single season? Well, today we're going to be talking about healing spiritually and emotionally during your single season. There was a time in my life where I can remember where God was trying to grow me and heal me during my single season. I remember a time that I was at a point where I was ready to end certain relationships that I knew were not good for me. I knew deep down, and other people had even spoken to me about it, but when you're in something, you kind of like, but you still just, for some reason, you still just continue in the relationship. Where I came to a point where I was ready to end it, and that's how I knew that I was growing emotionally and spiritually, because it's like I wanted to grow my relationship with God more, but I felt like I need to cut off the nonsense, right? In order to really get to that place where I needed to get with God. So that's how I could tell that I was ready to grow spiritually. So in case you're new to the channel, I'm Tamaya, and here I help women grow in their faith and relationships. So again, we're going to be talking about growing spiritually and emotionally during your single season. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this video with someone who you think might need it. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is that during that season where I was talking about, where I noticed that God was ready to let me heal and let me grow, I noticed that I was not giving myself time in between relationships. I would end one, and I can't remember the time frame exactly, but I was noticing that I can notice now, I'll say, when I'm thinking back on it, that I was not giving myself enough time to kind of heal and get rid of all the baggage or the stuff that came with the previous relationship. I was not giving myself time to get rid of that stuff before I moved on to another relationship. Now I'm going to be talking about 3 key areas today, and the first one is going to be healing starts with honesty. Right? How can you heal from something when you haven't even acknowledged that it's there, right? So that's the first step. You have to acknowledge that it's there, the past hurts or the past wounds, and those could be from family, they could be from past relationships, or they could be things that are dealing with self-worth. Now, as it pertains to family, I'll say that I had to heal from some things dealing with my family. Some unforgiveness. I deal with a lot of family members that at some point were very, I'll say, I guess, jealous or envious, and they were just doing things, they were saying things, and I got to a point where I kind of felt like I had become numb to it, but it really wasn't numbness. I think it was hurt, and I just kind of start to slowly cut them off in my mind. And I think I realized it when they came around. I didn't want to be there, or it would be like avoidance. Like if they were coming in, I would kind of go the other way, or if they were headed in my direction, I would go in the opposite direction. I never really confronted them about it, but I just didn't want to deal with them. That was my way of coping with it. So I realized though that I had to forgive them in order to like move on with my life and just not be walking around angry, right? Even though I didn't feel like I was angry, I didn't feel upset, just the feeling I got when they came around, it let me know that something was there. So I had to get rid of it. I had to get past it. Now, as far as past relationships, I've had things said to me, and I felt like it didn't really bother me, because I knew that what the person said was not true. So I felt like it didn't bother me, but at the same time, a part of me was like, is that what he really thinks about me? So it was kind of still there lingering. But I will say this, years later down the line, and I mean it was years later, that person ended up saying to me something that was totally opposite of that thing they said about me. It was kind of just like they were angry at that moment, and bitter, and it was a lot of unforgiveness happening at that time. So he said something, but then later on, after life kind of happened and situations happen and things that come to like humble you and kind of make you actually look at things through the actual lens that they are, he ended up coming back and saying something to me that was complete opposite of that comment that he had made years before. So just life happens, and I don't think I was angry about it because I knew it wasn't true, but I did feel some sort of relief when he came and said something to me years later about it, just because like I knew I wasn't that person, but I just had to kind of, I guess, wait until he realized or until he was ready to admit that I was not that person that he said I was. Now, self-worth, I wouldn't say I really have ever dealt with self-worth, but I will say in a sense that I would say I didn't know my worth. I will say that. And I'm looking back on my life now because the age I am now, I'm 45 right now. And I can just look back now and think about some of the relationships that I was in, some of the people that I allowed into my life. And I know that those relationships happened because I did not know my worth. I didn't understand my relationship with Christ. I didn't understand my identity in him. I didn't understand who he says that I was. I didn't understand the plan. I didn't understand the plan he had for my life. So that is why those things were able to happen. And I can see that now clearly. And that is what I'm here to help you with. Yeah. Next point, emotional growth is spiritual growth. Now, a few months ago, or actually it was very early this year, at church, we did a study, a small group study on this book, and I'll show it to you. It's called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. And you might think, what does one have to do with the other? And I kind of wondered that too at first, but as we went through that book, it was so good. And I really need to go through that book again, if I should be totally honest. But that book is what really made me realize that you could be growing spiritually, but eventually your emotional side has to catch up with your spiritual growth. Otherwise, you're going to be like growing in one area and then the other side of you is still stagnant or still moving slowly. Like you can be growing, saying, okay, I love God and I'm growing deeper with Jesus. But on the other hand, emotionally, if you're still immature, your relationships are suffering. You're not able to communicate. You're not able to love the right way, right? Like those are some things in this, and I noticed it by reading that book. I was like, wow. I noticed that just some of my emotional immaturity when it came to communication, I realized that had been affecting how I was communicating with my husband, how I was loving him, how I was showing up for him. Me being emotionally immature was affecting my relationship. So even though I was growing spiritually, the emotional side of me still had a lot to be desired. And can I say that I've arrived, that I'm at a perfect place now? Nope. But I'm growing. I am definitely being intentional about growing in that area because I want to be the best. I want to be the best wife I can be for him, right? Because he's so open and he's so honest and he talks and he tells me exactly how he feels. I am an introvert by nature, so I am learning and I am growing in that area of expressing myself, just saying what's on my mind and even showing emotions. Like I struggle with showing emotions sometimes, and I am working my way out of that person, right? Because I'm becoming a better Tamaya, a stronger Tamaya, a Tamaya that knows how to communicate, a Tamaya that knows how to speak. And just because I know that God has work for me to do, and I know that I have to be able to communicate effectively to do that work. I realize that now. Now, A few scriptures that you can focus on in this area with emotional and spiritual growth, and even healing, because I think a lot of emotional growth has to do with, sometimes it has to do with healing that needs to take place on the inside of us, right? Because when we are broken inside, or when we are hurt, when we have unforgiveness, all these things keep us from being our best self. They keep us from growing. They keep our relationships from being the best they can be, and they keep us from loving in the right way, because we have this stuff inside weighing us down, pulling us back, putting weight on us. Like, so we really have to be conscious about freeing ourselves from these things if we want to show up and be the best that we can be. Now, Romans 12:2, be joyful in hope. Those of you who might be feeling impatient during this single season, you might feel like, God, I'm ready to get married. What is taking so long? Be patient in hope. Be joyful in hope. Joyful in hope. Patient in tribulation. Faithful in prayer. Faithful in prayer. Faithful in prayer. And joyful, right? You're praying for it, but you are hoping and joy, and from a place of joy, just knowing that I know my God is going to answer this soon. And while I'm waiting for him to answer it, while I'm waiting for him to answer it, I am still full of peace, full of joy, full of hope, just knowing that he is a good father and that he does what he says he is going to do. He answers our prayers. Next one, Psalm 147 verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So if you are still dealing with some hurt from your past, that is a scripture for you. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Again, that was Psalm 147 verse 3. Now, third point I want to tell you about is singleness is not a pause. It is preparation, right? When you pause something, what happens? It stops. Your life has not stopped. You don't stop living because you're single. In fact, this should be maybe the best time of your life. Not best as in when you get married, it won't get better, but use the time to grow. Like, it is a time so full of opportunity. You have opportunity to be growing in your relationships, growing in your faith, growing and making new connections within your church body, serving others, volunteering, learning new skills, getting better at the areas that you are weak in. Now is the time to take a class, take a course, listen to a podcast, read a book, like whatever it is, whatever your learning style is, this is the time to grow in those areas. Like, we have so much access to things right now where you can be learning. It's your time to be healing. If you know that you have stuff inside that is holding you back, now is the time to heal from it, because you don't want to take all that stuff with you into your marriage. Use your time now and get healed, get whole. All right? And just a bit of encouragement, God is not wasting this single season. He is working. Make sure that you are working. He's working. He's always at work. Even when we don't feel like he's working, it does not look like he's working, he is always working. All right? Now, I just want to again encourage you that yes, you can be married someday. All right? If that is your desire, you are preparing yourself. You are getting ready, becoming the best you, becoming her. Remember that Proverbs 31 woman we've been talking about. You praying to God about it and you are becoming better, becoming her. God is going to answer your prayer. You're not too broken. You're not too damaged. You're not too hurt. You're not behind. He has not forgotten about you. All right? Your healing and your growth right now, your healing and your growth that is happening right now is going to lead to a stronger, healthier marriage later. All right? You heal now. You grow now. I just talked about it. Get better, stronger, get free from all that stuff, you're going to show up better. You're going to be a better you. You're going to be a better wife, a stronger wife. You're going to have a healthier marriage relationship because you are healthier on the inside. All right. Now, scripture for you, another scripture for you, Jeremiah 29:11. I know you guys probably know this. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. All right. So he has plans for you. All right. To prosper you, not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Hope. Remember, it's there. Be joyful and hope. All right. Reflection. Here's some questions I want you to think about. And you can also respond to these in the chat if you would like. I do read the chat and I love to hear from you guys. Where might God be inviting you into healing today? All right. What areas of your life might he be inviting you into healing today? And what part of your heart is still waiting for restoration? What part of your heart is still waiting for restoration? Like, what part of your heart still needs to be restored, healed, brought back to life? All right. Now, if this has resonated with you and you want to hear more, I encourage you to go read the full blog post. You'll see the link there in my description, the link for my blog. Head on over there and you can read the full post there. And I also encourage you to leave me a comment over there as well. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button, share this video with someone who you think might benefit from it. And if you are interested, I have created something so special just for you. It's a 7-day devotional and it's called While I Wait. It's for those of you ladies who are in your single season, but you want to continue to grow and you want to go through it in love and integrity and hope and in faith. Go ahead and hit the download. You'll see it. It says While I Wait, just for you. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Or for those of you who have been tuning in to the daily live, I'll see you tomorrow morning as we continue going through Proverbs 31. We are almost at the end of July. See you tomorrow.